Good morning, Spiritual Life Center. Welcome to the SLC Sunday Experience. We're so glad that you're with us today. We want you to know your soul is welcome here, and we're going to sing about it.
That's right. Your soul is welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. In the right place, I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be in my soul. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. And your souls are welcome. And all our souls are welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time, right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I'm just where I am meant to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome, Lord. Oh, my soul, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Yeah, I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. Let me see your hands up. Come on. My soul is welcome. Good morning, everybody. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome. It's welcome here. My soul is welcome here. Woo! My soul is welcome. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
Well, good morning, Reverend Deborah, and all those are here. Your souls are welcome here. It's good to see you.
Good morning, Reverend James. It's great to be here. And we greet you in the name of all that is good and all that is holy, all that is sacred, and in the warm and loving energy of this community, Spiritual Life Center. Spiritual Life Center honors all people worshiping in temples, mosques, churches, stone circles, and of course the beautiful temples of nature, because we know there is no space that God does not grace. And if you're with us for the very first time today, whether you are seeing us online, joining us online, or here in the sanctuary, we especially want to welcome you, because we know that we are not here by accident. Every single one of us is here by divine appointment. And we're always so excited to get together and grateful for the opportunity to get together. And we're also very grateful when you silence your electronic devices. And please refrain from flash photography during the service. Thank you.
Well, let's take this moment to commune with the presence of pure being. Recognize there's no separation between us and this presence that we call God, but is known by so many different names. Know that we come from this presence, we are this presence, and therefore contain all the qualities of this presence. The qualities of divine love itself, the peace that passes all human understanding, the joy, the wisdom, the health, the vitality, the vigor, the growth. It is all part of who and what we are. And so we make that our attention. We make that where we focus all of our energy, so that we radiate these qualities in every aspect of our life. And as we do, we can say without a doubt, when you see me, you see the same presence from which I have come. And as we become and express this presence, we anchor it in our life and in our world. So for this and so much more, we're grateful and thankful as we allow this presence to be expressed through and as us. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen. Well, we have a very important purpose here at Spiritual Life Center as reflected in our mission statement. And I just invite you to join in as we affirm it together. To transform lives as we love, serve, and remember. And we do so as we carry out and live out these 5 basic universal principles to the best of our ability wherever we are, regardless of what we're doing, no matter what we're going through. So let's affirm them together. God is absolute good and everywhere present. People are inherently good. Thoughts create our experiences. Prayer and meditation are how we connect with God, and we must take action.
And a good action, or an action will be to set your clocks back an hour next Sunday morning at 2 a.m. because daylight savings time will be ending and we will be falling back. So set it, so that you have a whole hour extra. However, if you forget to do that and you get here early, we will have lots of extra coffee.
Yes, and probably something for you to do. So we always have an opportunity for you to do something. Well, we had a magnificent cabaret this past Friday night. And we want to thank all of those who were part of the cabaret on Friday night.
Who you gonna call? If it's something weird and it don't look good, who you gonna call?
You never know what you may experience here at Spiritual Life Center. That wasn't part of the script, but it was all good. So we want to thank everyone who participated on Friday. And we want to let you know that everyone had a great time. and we had some spectacular, besides some great folks participating in it, we had some wonderful decorations from Lurie and Mary Rupp, and some magnificent food from the Chrismans and the Fuchikawas, as well as Pat Harvey provided that. And a good time was had by all. So we're going to do it again. It was so good.
This Saturday is the Darshana Hindu exhibit. Now, this is a national traveling exhibit, and we are so honored that they're going to come here and allow us to be part of that. The word Darshana is a Sanskrit word that means viewing the sacred. And this entire exhibit consists of about 24 panels on all aspects of Hindu culture, history, religion, and contributions to society. About 20 of those panels will be here on Saturday, and they will only be here from 1 to 4 p.m. They will come in, set up, let people come view them, take it, and then at 4 o'clock, they'll take it down and they will go somewhere else. So your opportunity is those 3 hours. So make good use of it, and we'll see you Saturday, November 5th.
It's going to be a wonderful experience. And at this time, we're going to invite Ruth Rizos to come forward. She's part of the Heart to Heart program that we have at Spiritual Life Center. And so she's going to bring you up to date on what's happening in that arena. So welcome, Ruth. Thanks so much for being here today.
Well, good morning, Spiritual Life Center.
Good morning.
I'm Ruth Rizos, a member of your Evolutionary Council Committee. And in 2020, we shared confidential heart-to-heart conversations with many of you. During this process, we found ourselves in a pandemic. Since so much has changed over the last couple of years, we're very excited to begin new heart-to-heart conversations. And we've developed some new questions in response to those changes. What is a heart-to-heart conversation? It is a shared, sacred, spiritual experience of confidential, deep listening between you and a heart-to-heart facilitator. We want to learn about your vision for SLC, what's working, and where there are opportunities. And we also want to build community and make deeper connections. We'll compile the information into a community report. And the report will tell the experiences of our community, identify themes, and connect us to our mission to transform lives. Whether you join us on site or online, sign-ups for heart-to-heart conversations are now open. We invite you to sign up at the Evolutionary Council table in the courtyard after the service, or by sending an email message with your name and telephone number to ecouncil@slcworld.org. Again, that's ecouncil@slcworld.org. After you sign up, a facilitator, another church member, will contact you to arrange a time and place that works for both of you to meet and share a heart-to-heart conversation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ruth, for all the work that you do and so much that happens behind the scenes and letting folks know what ways they can contribute to this process. Okay, on November the 20th is Gratitude Sunday, and Reverend Ron Palumbo, a friend of mine, will be our guest speaker. And Ron has been teaching his healing and empowerment workshops at Unity Churches for over 30 years. And not only will he be our speaker on that Sunday, he's also going to offer 2 workshops. After service on Gratitude Sunday, you can attend his powerful 4-hour workshop entitled Using the Law of Attraction Wisely. I imagine that there's some people may be using it unwisely because we're always attracting something in our life. So we want to make sure we're using that law wisely. And then you can take a deeper dive and join Ron for the Healing and Empowerment series that he's going to have on Monday and Tuesday evening. So you can sign up for both of these or either of them starting Wednesday. You can go to our website to register. So you'll have a chance to check out and experience Ron's experience teaching the law of attraction and using it wisely in our life, and then the workshops. So you can take part or all or just show up.
I think that's going to be an exciting lead up to Thanksgiving, actually. So, yeah. Remember, we also have many activities going on during the week. We have small groups that meet. And to discover all of the happenings at Spiritual Life Center, you can go to our website. And on site, you can go out to the courtyard, look at the bulletin board, chat with the ladies at the hub, and find out all the wonderful things that are happening at SLC, and sign up for, well, everything.
Well, at this time, I invite any of our board members or chaplains that are here this morning, and the chaplains wear the white stoles. They hold a high spiritual consciousness for us through their prayer work. And if you'd like to have prayer today, right after the service, if you're going through any challenge or just want to celebrate something, they're available to do that because they will help you see things from the highest point of view, or take where you're already in a high point and just take it a little higher by infusing the presence of God in your experience that you're going through. So we thank them for their consciousness and the contribution they make to Spiritual Life Center. And our board members are here doing wonderful work, again, behind the scenes, giving their time, their talent, their skill to help us move forward as a community. And we appreciate their consciousness and contributions, and they're available to answer questions that you may have about Spiritual Life Center and the work that they're doing and what we're all doing together as a community. So we thank them for their contribution to Spiritual Life Center.
I'm sorry, there's a big puffy ghost over there that's still making you laugh. We love to welcome our newcomers, so in a moment we will ask you to raise your hand. But first, we want you to know that there are many ways to become connected at Spiritual Life Center. And one of the ways to do that is to fill out the welcome card. Now, that welcome card is available online, so you can go to our website, fill out the card and submit it, and we will get back to you. If you're here with us in person, raise your hand. We will give you the card, fill it out, take it to the welcome table in the courtyard where there is a special gift and a very warm welcome.
So at this time, if anyone's here for the very first time, we invite you to raise your hand. Any first-timers here this morning? Okay, I guess all the first-timers were at the first service today. Oh, we have someone here. Oh, they've been here before? Well, they might just want another card, you know. Give her another one. That's okay. Well, we thank everyone for their presence this morning, and we invite you to greet a friend or a neighbor or someone that you don't know or that is relatively new, and just say, you are marvelous, glad you are here, and just do so in a manner that feels comfortable for you.
let's just hit it. We'll get their attention with the music. 1, 2.
Let's do it.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Let there be light, our light shining in the presence and power of Spirit in me. Let there be light, our light shining in the presence and power of Spirit in me. Let there be light, our light shining in the presence and power of Spirit in me. Let there be light, our light shining in the presence and power. Let there be light shining, our light shining in the presence and power of Spirit in me. Let there be light shining, our light shining in the presence and power of Spirit in me. Of your heart and mind, intentions refined. I am light with my divine identity.
welcome Gwen Pearl to the platform today.
Well, those who are part of our spiritual action series that we have every year, one of the things besides just giving a topic and having everyone share in their study groups the topic for each week that on the chapters that we read, we also have artists from our community who give a pictorial representation of the lesson for the week. And this week's artist is Reverend Penelope Clement, and we're speaking on the chapter of Love and Wisdom, and the title of her painting is called Heart Wisdom. And here's what she writes. We all have a universal heart that is full of love and wisdom, without being limited to our material awareness. This painting shows 4 steps to awakening our universal heart. Number 1, the lower left. The heart is asleep in the waters of life. It is doing its job, keeping the body alive, but it is not talking to us. Number 2, the lower right. The heart breaks open and we connect to others through powerful emotions. We become more sensitive and aware of the thoughts and emotions of ourselves and others. Number 3, the upper left. As the heart becomes more sensitive, it starts to awaken and rise out of limited life experience. We gain our vision and purpose in life. Number 4, the upper right. The heart has integrated into the cosmos. It still connects with those in the waters of life without being immersed and caught up in them. It can now share its love and wisdom with all. That's Reverend Penelope. Heart wisdom.
As part of our work that we've been doing together, individually and as a community through our quantum living work, we decided consciously to dive into our shadows to discover where some of the pain bodies are in our community and in each other or in ourselves. And several years ago now, it's been, I don't have track of time anymore, but we did this work as a community. There were about 50 folks that showed up and did this work and discovered these qualities here that we decided we would ask for compassion for. And so let's do that together. Please have compassion for us when we are being not enough, distrusting, grieving, blaming, powerless, or fearful. Because this is who we've come here to be, inspired, in integrity, joy-filled, compassionate, unstoppable, generous, and transformational. And indeed, this work is transformational. So now let's embody those words and also the words of our vision statement as we speak them also together. Spiritual Life Center is a loving, vibrant family that welcomes home all people and accepts everyone, no exceptions, weaving ancient spiritual traditions with emerging wisdom. We cultivate a spiritual deepening with the divine, each other, and our planet. And now, in preparation for meditation, this beautiful chant once again.
In the glory, I am.
in the light, in the love, in the glory. I am. As we move into this time of inner knowing, take a deep breath and just let it all go. Take another breath and let that one go. And now breathe naturally and watch as each breath your body begins to relax. Drop your shoulders. Loosen your hands. Relax your eyelids. And allow your air awareness to float to the center of your chest. Greet your heart. Feel your heart. Hear your heart. Watch your heart. A rich pink light emanates from behind your heart, reaching out to you, enveloping you. The light feels warm and tingly, filling your body with vibrant, harmonizing energy that can only be named divine love. Immersed in this light, you feel and you know your world as it is meant to be. Unified, whole, harmonious. Love permeates your very being. And you are infinite love. As infinite love, float down now into the solar plexus, the geographical center of your body. Here at your center, brilliant yellow light shines like the sun, drawing you in and again enveloping you. Here the light feels warm, knowing, flowing. Your body fills with discerning energy that can only be named divine wisdom. In this light, your very cells vibrate with inner knowing. Discernment, right judgment flows through your entire body. You are infinite wisdom. Your sunlight of wisdom begins to expand upward until it joins the vibrant pink light of love. And the two lights slowly begin to rotate as they merge into a spiral of brilliant light, yellow and pink, glistening, filling your entire body, dancing through every cell, bathing you in love and wisdom in the silence. There is only one light. Only one power expresses the qualities of divine love and divine wisdom. Only one. In the allness of this energy, you are still and quiet with the inner knowing that you are a holy expression of love. And as you take a breath and start to become aware of your physical body, receive this blessing. Oh, my beloved, divine love harmonizes and magnetizes you. Divine wisdom guides you in the ways of righteousness. When you open to love, when you open to wisdom, you become who you came here to be, a holy expression of the One. Remember this always.
With each breath I take, through my smiles and laughter, through my tears and pain, pouring through me as it slowly unfolds me. It's the flow of my evolution. Oh, my soul keeps growing, it knows when it's time for change. There's a mountain meant for me to climb. At the peaks of lesson, it'll be sublime. And every step along that pathway past my name, 'cause they're part of my evolution. Oh, my soul keeps growing, it knows when it's time for change. Waves crash down around me, and I see more clearly, taking baggage I don't need and releasing it. When I wash up yonder, braver, wiser, stronger, I will never be the same. Never be the There's a perfect seed that will one day spring forth from a self I grieve, and I will step out of a crucible of pain, blossoming in my evolution. Oh, my soul keeps growing, it knows when it's time for change. Keeps growing, it knows when it's time for change. Oh, my soul is growing, it knows when it's time for change. It's my evolution. It's my evolution.
Gwen Pearl.
Gwen Pearl and her team today with Paula, and is that I can't remember. You said it was a Soprano saxophone, yes. Really nice. Our evolution. I think we're here to grow, develop, and unfold all of the time. I remember there was a story about a woman who was on an airplane. She was with her son, she was with her daughter and her husband at the time. And she was very stressed out, and she had a son who was about 10 months old at the time. And she was nursing the son, and this was their very first family trip they had all taken together. And she said she dreaded flying. And she recalled getting on the plane and kind of saying to herself or to the universe, God, please be with me on this flight. Because she didn't want her young child screaming and bothering the other passengers on the plane. I don't know if you've ever been on a flight and right behind you, there is that very rambunctious child. And needless to say, the mother said her anxiety was super high because of the stress that she was going through and all the stuff that was happening in her life. And wouldn't you know it, as soon as the flight took off, it appeared that 10-month-old baby boy apparently did not care about his mother's prayers because he wasn't having it. He started crying. In fact, she said he was wailing. And there was nothing that the mom could do to comfort that child at that moment. And she said she felt so bad for the woman sitting right in front of her because her son was wailing right in her ear. And the mom just knew that the woman was going to turn around any minute and give her a piece of her mind and say, shut that baby up. But much to her surprise, that didn't happen at all. Instead, the woman turned and looked at them and looked at her, the mom, and asked, can I try? And the mom was somewhat hesitant, but she thought to herself, well, even if she's a crazy woman, she can't get off the plane with my son because nobody can do that. And so she said to her, sure, go ahead and try. And the woman said, well, if it's okay, I'd like to hold him. And I'd like to walk around with him on the plane. And the mom said she was so desperate, she said, do what you have to do, because she was at her wit's end. And the woman sitting in front of her knew apparently this mom was struggling. She just sensed that. And the mom said she was so disappointed in God. I prayed for help, and you just ignored my prayers and abandoned me. What good are you? But she did stand up and put her son in the woman's arms. And all the while, the kid's still crying and not wanting to go to this woman. And of course, everybody on the plane is staring and looking at her. Of course, they couldn't leave. That's all they could do is stare and look. But the woman took the child and started walking up and down the aisle. And the mother's watching, and sure enough, eventually the kid stopped crying. And the woman sat down on the airline attendant seat, I guess called the jump seat, and she held the child for the entire flight of the plane. It was like 3 or 4 hours. And the kid's hair was all wet, he was sweaty, and there was sweat all up and down the woman's arm, but she didn't care. The woman didn't really want to give him back. But the mom was relieved because she needed a break at that moment. And when they finally landed, the mom couldn't thank the stranger enough. And it suddenly dawned on the mom that her prayer indeed was answered, because the woman sitting in that next seat clearly was sent by the universe at that moment. And the woman that was holding the kid was in tears. And she handed the boy back to the mom and said, thank you so much for letting me hold your son. I lost my son a few months ago, and you were an answer to my prayers. And the mom teared up and said, you don't know, you were the answer to mine. And the mom went on to say, you never know who got sent and how the love of the universe brings everything together to bring good to all concerned in any given moment. It says in Romans, the 8th chapter and 28th verse, we all know things work together for good for those who love God, for those who are called according to God's purpose. And I believe that story is a demonstration of the mysterious, unifying, and harmonizing energy of love. Well, we're in our 5th week of our Faith in Action series of Divine Audacity. We're talking about love and wisdom today. And as pointed out in the text that we've been reading for this week, there are different definitions of what love is and different perspectives. But one definition of love that I've been leaning on this week is that love is really when we are supporting our own or another person's spiritual growth. Now, sometimes that support doesn't always look like it's loving. I remember when I was in a treatment center many years ago with a number of other clients going through their experiences. And one of the things that we had to do is follow all of these rules. And if you didn't follow the rules, then it was your obligation to bring it up with the rest of the group when somebody was getting out of line. Now, these are a bunch of individuals who did not like to be considered snitches. But we had to do that in order to help the other person recognize where they were falling down so they would not come back to really getting into habits and behaviors that would somehow impede their recovery. So we had to do what they call pull-ups. Said, I pull up so-and-so and then point out what it was. And no one really probably enjoyed doing it, but in the end, it was for their spiritual growth, their development, their unfoldment. It is said that God, the universe, loves us so much that God cannot leave us alone. Sometimes I want God to leave me alone. I don't want to grow that much. But the good news is that we never have to ask, is God going to love me? God is love. And this presence that we call God is also within each and every one of us. So sometimes we attract things in our life that we are not conscious of to help us grow ourselves, to help us get whatever we need to express and live out the audacious lives that we're here to live. And sometimes unbeknownst to us, we may even create circumstances that on the surface we do not like and don't understand why they're happening. Sometimes we're in a movie of our own making. And of course, in our own movie, we're playing all the parts. We're directing it, we're providing all the resources, we're giving it all the energy, we're writing the script for it, and we're playing all the things that we play, and sometimes the parts that we don't like, we may project them on a villain and think somebody else is causing us our problems. But it's us always creating the scenarios for us to grow spiritually. So sometimes we create a horror movie, and a villain or a bad guy or a bad girl is a part of the horror movie. And this is called Halloween, so I'm talking about horrors now. So I'm going to save myself from all this other people and all this stuff, but it's always us, the loving God presence within us. And the movie is going on and on and on, and we may be caught up in the drama, forgetting we're playing the role. And we play them so well, and sometimes we've denied that we're playing them so well that we have, like I said, projected them on other people, thinking that they're the problem. And if somewhere we believe we could just change those other people, oh, my life would be okay. But understand that it's never the other folks. I was playing the role of Dracula Friday night, and if you know this movie, you know Dracula keeps on coming back. You kill that bad boy, you might move from New York to Sacramento and change jobs. You got all your garlic out and your cross and superstitions and all your affirmation, all kinds of things going on. But it's happening because there's something there for us to learn and to grow from. God loves us too much to leave us alone. As I thought about it, I was thinking about, sometimes if you say, I want to get away from a person, It could be a job, could be in a relationship, and you move and you go somewhere else, and then, bam, there they are again. Now, they're in a different body. They may be a different sex, but you know that they are the same individual coming back to haunt us again. But we want to realize that it's all good. As in the reading quotes this week, quotes Charles Fillmore, the co-founder of Unity, on the power of love. It said, insist that all is good. And by refusing to see anything but it, causes that quality of good to finally appear uppermost in itself in all circumstances. So you ask, how can we trigger this power of love to come and help us grow, develop, and unfold? And we simply ask the question, how does God see this? How does Spirit see this? Because everything in our life is either to be enjoyed or learned from. And so there's something in it for us to learn from it. Because how we see a particular situation really determines what it is for us. Love calls it good. And love is that harmonizing energy of this universe. As I was reading notes in Colossians, above all, clothe yourself with love, which binds everything together in perfect harmony. And I think that's what happened on that plane, that story, that everything came together in perfect harmony to help all the parties to grow, to support them. Whether it's the mom, the woman that was the stranger, or even the child who finally got a very nice 3 or 4 hours sleep. The highest law of attraction is that divine energy of love. And this energy of love is beyond words, but is more real, more powerful than any force that there is in this universe. And when we embrace our wisdom faculty, which is the second faculty for this week that we're taking a look at, we recognize this power of love and how we let this wisdom guide us in every aspect of our life. Now, we access wisdom, we have to have the ability to say and do the right thing. When we access that power of wisdom, we say and do the right thing at the right time, at the highest and best way that we can. The book of Proverbs says, remind us to tap into this wisdom. And it says in the fourth chapter, the 8th verse, that get wisdom, and whatever else you get insight, prize her wisely, and she will exalt you. She will honor you if you embrace her. Now, wisdom, what they call in our text, is applied knowledge, where we know that we know that we know, we just know something. And sometimes we get wisdom through experience, what they call the school of hard knocks. We get kicked in the cosmic keister, get kicked by the cosmic 2x4. We get some wisdom. Sometimes we get it through our intellect. Sometimes we get it through our logical reasoning. But as I read the reading this week, I think the highest form of wisdom comes through our intuition. It comes through that inspiration. And sometimes we know something without any process of reasoning at all. At all. There was a nurse who was responsible for caring for a patient. And that patient was doing pretty well after undergoing what they call a minor surgery. In fact, the patient was scheduled to be discharged the very next day. However, the moment she started her shift, the nurse had a bad feeling in her gut. For a reason that was unclear to her rational mind, she kept checking on that patient, and she never usually did this because there was something within her that said, do it. Like I like to say, that's something is a name for God. Something, I don't know if you've ever been driving down the street and something says, I probably need to get off this exit now. But we don't, and we keep on going. Then we realize that we're stuck in traffic for much longer than we thought. We just had to listen to our wisdom. Anyway, each time she checked the patient would just say, oh, I'm fine. I'm completely fine. And late one morning, the patient went for a walk around the hospital. And the nurse offered to walk with him. And she said she was glad she did because the gentleman passed out just while he was walking the grounds. And he apparently had a very serious heart condition that was not detected. And the nurse was told if she was not there with him, he probably would have passed on. You know, that day the nurse believed she was particularly in tune with her intuitive faculties, that she tapped into that all-knowing something that guided her to check in on that patient and to accompany him on his walk that day, something she said she normally would never do because she had so much else to do. You know, I recall the day many years ago, I was thinking about this chapter. I was in high school and I took this exam in math. And there was a particular question that I had no idea how to answer. So rather than leave it blank, I decided to put something down that just kind of came through me as an answer rather than just leave it blank. And out of the blue, I had this idea that came up through me. And I was led to use a formula that I had no clue what it meant or where it even came from. And since I had nothing to lose, I said, hey, you have nothing to lose. Just plug in the numbers and in this equation that seemed to be made up. And I finished the exam and didn't think any more about it. And I just left the room and went about my business. And so when I got the test back, the answer was correct. But not only that, but the teachers commented that it was an equation that he had never seen before. And neither had I. It was just some kind of intuitive flash I got in that moment. I tried to capture that intuitive flash on some other tests. None of that worked. Apparently, you have to give spirit something to work with and prepare in order for it to have something to work with. So you got to know something first, and then it'll give you the increase. But despite that, I believe that we can learn how to cultivate our intuitive powers. We can tap into that infinite wisdom that we all have access to. But that's a course in and of itself. We can actually tap into those impulses that say, do this and don't do that. I think we can all assert our intuitive power of wisdom by asking, what do I know? And more importantly, how does God see this? Because we always get answers to the questions that we ask. And then if we begin to ask that question, God is all, knows all, omniactive. If we ask the question, what does God know and see about this? We will tap into that innate capacity where we can judge rightly, as it says. We will discern correctly. Linda Martella Whitsett points out in her book, and she made reference to the Disney story, Jiminy Cricket telling Pinocchio, let your conscience be your guide. We all have an inner knowing that says, do this. This is the right time. This is the right way. And I believe that woman on that plane had a flash of intuition, and she knew she could calm that trying child. Something told her. There was no reasoning. Nobody gave her any information. And I think that force, that God, that divine presence came to her. It is that force that binds everything together to work for the highest good for all concerned. We have an inner guidance system, our own personal GPS. And when we follow it, it always leads us to that harmonizing power that love has for us. This is what the world is crying out for today. This is what is important. Because we know on a deep level, on a profound level, that love is the remedy for the separation of consciousness that we're often witnessing in our country and our world today. See, when we put use of our faculty of wisdom and our faculty of love, we begin to break down the artificial barriers that our human minds have created. That artificial barrier that's created between people and groups and nations. And when we begin to tap into that wisdom and that love, we will begin to look at each other and begin to see the beauty that we are always expressing because we come from that presence. And we'll begin to stop seeing the differences that we've made up. And we'll look at someone that we ordinarily would say, man, that person is really off their rocker. And we'll say, look at that wonderful light that is shining through that individual. Isn't God magnificent to create all these different kind of people in this world? And we'll see life through a different lens. We'll see that the many variations of how this infinite spirit needs all of these variations to reveal its infinitude, to reveal how we can grow and develop and unfold to become a harmonizing force to make a difference in the world. So we want to do our part by letting our innate wisdom guide us to practice the unifying power of love. It's not always easy. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. But as Jimi Hendrix once said, when we follow the wisdom and insight to know that when the power of love becomes when the power of love becomes more important than the love of power, the world will see peace. And our seemingly upside down world will suddenly become right side up. So I say to you that here, online, that each of us are expressions of the presence of God. So as they say in the old school, brothers and sisters of God, the time is now. The place is wherever you are, to be more than you ever thought you could be. The world needs us to be those channels of wisdom, to be those channels of divine love. And as we do, we will manifest the divine audacity that is in each and every one of us. So it is. Peace and blessings to you. Well, each week we have an affirmation that we invite you to just embody, incorporate, speak, put on your refrigerator or carry with you or just put it in your phone to repeat it throughout the week. But right now, let's say it together. Love magnifies and unifies me. Innate wisdom guides my way. My light shines for all to see. And that's the truth. And next week, Reverend Deborah will be back to take on 2 additional those spiritual faculties that are being covered in our Faith in Action, when she talks about the light of strength and order. And I'll be here to do the meditation and music by Ann Roach and Larry and Still Light Connection and you all, as well as those who are online. And so at this time, I speak to those who happen to be watching us online, whether now or in a replay later. And if you'd like to support this community so we can provide a place for more people to be transformed by the renewing of their mind, to grow, develop, and unfold so we can make a positive difference in our world, you can support us in helping us do that. And you can send your gift, your offering, your money by texting SLC Love to 44321. Just write the words SLC Love as you text it to 44321, and then it'll pop up exactly how you can donate to us. Or you can go directly to our website, slcworld.org, click the Donate tab, and it'll give you other ways that you can donate to us, including by sending a check through the mail. So with that, I invite all of us here to symbolically take our gifts or offerings that you may have today, or if you've already given online and automatically, know that you're in the flow of a principle that says whatever we give out comes back to us in so many different ways. And so with that, let's affirm our offertory blessing together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. Thank you, God.
We have the power to create a world with no war and no hate, where all souls near and far get to live in harmony and unity. And in this heavenly place, a mosaic of culture and race, there's a language that's used to bring peace and truth to all. Can you hear its call? Love is spoken here. Oh, to see all humankind everywhere is divine and pure. That's what love is for. Love is spoken here. Oh, every word, every phrase, every action makes it clear. Oh, you can open up your heart and mind without fear. Oh, 'cause love is spoken here. It's 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 spoken here. Just feel the joy in the air now, the sweet peace and freedom we have, the comfort in knowing that love will always have our backs. Oh, love is spoken here. Love is spoken here. Oh, every word, every phrase, every action makes it clear. Oh, you can open up your heart and mind without fear. Oh, 'cause love is spoken here. It's 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 spoken here. Oh, love, 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 it's spoken here. 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 Love.
Love is spoken here. And we make this energy the activity of our consciousness through the thoughts we have, our spoken word, the actions that we take. And we begin to shower those who have blessed us with their gifts today with that divine love. For what they are doing is also an expression of love on another level. And so we know that it's going to bless the givers as well as the receivers and set a new vibration of what's possible on the very planet in which we live, because we're furthering a vision of what humanity can be when we are seen at our highest and best. This is what we're seeking to impart, and hopefully others will receive as they connect with Spiritual Life Center. We thank those who are supporting this community. And we give also an affirming nod to those who have left their prayers in the prayer box this week, recognizing that we all have challenges in our life. We all have bumps in the road, unexpectancies, setbacks, sometimes challenges on difficulties that we are facing. But we know that there's always a divine and perfect answer available in the form of the Spirit of the living God. For we know that this presence is nothing more than the answer to every seeming problem that we think we have. Because in the spiritual realm, there are no problems, there are only divine and perfect spiritual solutions. And it gives us an opportunity to tap into those solutions or to learn what it is for us to learn as we seek to grow on this path called life. These prayers will go on to Silent Unity for an additional 30 days of prayer, where they've been holding prayer for over 125 plus years, constantly, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So there's a prayer energy that's been built up that those who have left those prayers will feel, and will begin to rise up in energy to be in tune with the answer that this presence has. It is already done. As that scripture says, before they call, have already answered you. So before we even utter the prayer, know what question to ask. Spirit has that answer awaiting us. So we lift our vibration to be one with the answer, knowing it is done. For this and so much more, we're grateful and thankful as we say in the name and the nature of the Spirit of the living God. Thank you, God. Amen. And at this time, I just invite you to join in as we affirm our prayer for protection and embody this and know this is the truth that we're always living and moving and having our being in, as we are beginning to bring up a little bit more of the ghost that we need to bust. Just came up through me. Let's say it together. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is. I am. And all is well. And that is the truth. Let us sing our peace song. Anybody want to stick around for the postlude?
Oh yeah, she's
Got
got
some
a nice
wonderful
one.
solo piece here. Hang out. Peace. Have a great week.